Okay, so these next few questions are slightly harder, but on the same theme of the previous ones. This first question here is a straightforward one. Remember, we always measure in a clockwise direction, and an entire circle adds up to 360 degrees. This one here is telling us that it is 47 degrees less than a full circle. Okay, so we've got our full circle of 360 degrees, and this angle here is 47 degrees less than 360, giving us 313 degrees, or a bearing of 313 degrees. So this next question here is a variation on a theme, but a bit some different details in it. So what we can see is we've got this dotted line coming down here. This represents south. Okay, it's directly opposite to north, and on a compass directly opposite to north is south, and south has a bearing of 180 degrees. Now again, write down the bearing of B from A. So from this point here, what's the bearing towards B? And what we can see here is, here's our 180, and our bearing is 35 degrees further along. Now ignore this arrow. What this arrow is telling you is this angle here from this line is 35 degrees. Well, what we can see from it is our bearing on this line here is 35 degrees more than south, or more than 180 degrees. So we can write 180 degrees, add on what we know, 35 degrees, okay, giving us the bearing of B from A to 212 degrees. So the bearing of B from A for this middle question here is 212 degrees, because it is 35 degrees further round. Remember, we go clockwise. Okay, it's 35 degrees further round in a clockwise direction than south is. So this last question here, again, we're using our dotted line here for south, south being 180 degrees. But this time our bearing, our line from A to B, is less than 180 degrees. Okay, remember, we always measure in a clockwise direction. This dotted line here being south, being 180, and the information they've given us is this line is 95 degrees away from south, but it's in an anti-clockwise direction, and if it's anti-clockwise we need to take it away. Okay, so this is 95 degrees, you could say less than south. South is 180 degrees, has a bearing of 180 degrees, and this line is 95 degrees less than 180 degrees. Okay, giving me an angle of 85 degrees, but we want a bearing, and bearings always have 3 digits in, so our bearing is 085 degrees. So the answer to this question here would be a bearing of 085. B is on a bearing of 085 degrees, goodness me, from A.